What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty?
Perhaps one of Roald Dahl's most renowned novels, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, is getting its third ever live-action adaptation. Starring Timothée Chalamet as the leading man himself, the upcoming Wonka will explore the chocolatier's past as a young adult selling candy in a small stall to his eventual rise in sweet, sweet fame. Of course, like a semi-everlasting gobstopper, there are layers upon layers of mystery and trivia to unfold within this delightful concoction of a franchise. From a few scrapped concepts to real-life happenings and hullabaloos, what say we dive into the sea of licorice? Let's start with the first adaptation, 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, starring Gene Wilder. In case you don't know, its whole production was merchandise-driven, although the merch in this case refers to actual candy. You see, Quaker Oats, who you might know for their self-titled cereal, including Cap'n Crunch, gave an impressive amount of monetary backing toward the movie. This was done to fictionalize the chocolate bars from the franchise and turn them into an actual lineup of candies. Unfortunately for them, their Wonka brand balls were recalled due to production problems and won't be relaunched until 2005, when the Wonka brand was acquired by Nestle. That lineup also faced a series of problems, including low sales, which resulted in various on and off relaunches and discontinuations. Some of you might also be familiar with the fact that Roald Dahl himself was against the film's adaptational changes, going so far as to disown it. By most accounts, he hated it so much that he forbade anyone from making an adaptation of the novel's sequel, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. Besides disagreements with director Mel Stewart, Dahl also really wanted the role of Wonka to be played by Spike Milligan instead of Gene Wilder.
Augustus, please, don't do that. My chocolate must never be touched by human hands.
Speaking of Gene, did you know that one of his most famous and quoted scenes from the movie was actually an example of enforced method acting? Granted, it was more so enforced for Peter Ostrom, the actor who played Charlie. We're of course referring to the Good Day Sir scene in which Wonka yells at Charlie for defying the contract, with Ostrom's reaction being 100% genuine due to not being told beforehand that Wilder would be shouting at him. What made Gene Wilder stand out as Wonka was the amount of control he had over his own character. Wilder explicitly insisted that Wonka be introduced as faking a disability and immediately following it up with a somersault, just to hammer in how much of a trickster the character is. The actor was even given complete control of his own costume, its dimensions, colors, and its number of pockets. Speaking of appearances, don't think we've forgotten about the 2005 Tim Burton adaptation. Played by Johnny Depp this time around, this version of Wonka was met with partial confusion, let's say. Believe it or not, most people around the time of its release figured this Wonka's appearance was at least somewhat of a parody of Michael Jackson. The similarities are there. Both are soft-spoken artists with a zany sense of fashion and have childlike qualities. Of course, fans of Burton's stuff are well aware of his love of the creepy, avant-garde side of things, so this was a mix of coincidence. And also the fact that Depp took more than a bit of inspiration from Vogue magazine editor Anna Wintour.
Important room, this. After all, it is a chocolate.
While both versions have their fair share of whimsy to them, the Johnny Depp one is undeniably meant to be creepy, whereas the original leaned on the unintentional side. Nevertheless, the 1971 release never posed many problems when it came to syndication, only having one of its songs removed for brevity. Compare that to the 2005 movie, which had to be edited for airing on channels like Freeform, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network due to one of Mike TV's lines having the R slur in it. Some cuts just have him say idiot instead, while others awkwardly cut it out. Before we put a stop to this gobstopper of a topic, it's worth mentioning just how chaotic the development of the second version actually was. It began development all the way back in 1991 when Warner Bros. And Brillstein Grey Entertainment acquired the rights to Roald Dahl's book. It took several years to finalize the purchase, with Dahl's widow and daughter gaining artistic control soon after. To list the number of people involved would take us a millennium, so here are just a few. Scott Frank, who initially wrote the screenplay, left the project in 2001, along with director Gary Ross. After that, Rob Minkoff took over as director, and Gwyn Lurie started a new script in 2002. Even Martin Scorsese briefly considered directing before opting for different projects. And of course, as you know, all of this led to nothing as Tim Burton eventually helmed the project. With all that said, did you enjoy this delicacy-filled trivia trip surrounding one of the most classic fantasy stories? And most importantly, are you looking forward to the prequel about Wonka? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section, and if interested, check out our other videos. Every like and subscription helps. We hope to see you around again. Same channel, different time.